Well, a wonderful statement by Elizabeth Beisel, the fastest time in the world this year, and it continues, Rowdy. It's been a trend. I mean, you're talking about someone who was a 15-year-old, was in the Olympic Games, but she won the Pan Pacs last year, World Championships this year. 200 IM already here.
Complete domination in Shanghai. 2.5 seconds faster than anybody else.
All right, Dagny Knutson makes another final. She was 5th in the 200 free. Dagny now swimming out of Florida. And she'll be in lane 1. She's a teammate of Beisel's there. Julia Smith, world record holder in the short course meters for the 400 IM. Of course, an outstanding swimmer right here at Stanford. 6th in the 09 Worlds at this. Teresa Crippen, whose year has been very challenging. From a great swimming family, her brother Fran suffered a tragic death in an open water competition last fall. In Shanghai, all of the U.S. swimmers wore a shield that bore Fran Crippen's official initials to honor his memory. Alyssa Vavra, Indiana University swimmer. She'll be out of lane 4 from Coaldale, Pennsylvania. Lane 5 will be Beisel, fastest prelim swim in just under 4:40. Can you believe she's been doing this so long? Can you believe she's just a couple of weeks shy of her 19th birthday? Maya Dorado, she was 3rd in the 200 IM this week here in Palo Alto. Again, it's her home pool, swimming for Stanford University. Camille Adams, Texas A&M swimmer. And Camille Adams will swim out of lane 7. Amber McDermott, incoming freshman at University of Georgia. She's got some international experience, junior Pan Pacs and dual in the pool in 2009. Haley Anderson from Granite Bay, California, just outside Sacramento, now swims at USC. She'll be in lane 9. And Andy Taylor, been on 2 national junior teams, and she'll be the 3rd Stanford swimmer in this final, swimming out of lane 10.
See Teresa Crippen, Ted. She's got a great front half of the race. I mean, very good, solid fly and back. In fact, she might be in the lead after the first 2 legs.
Elizabeth Beisel, national champion in 2009. Caitlin Leverance won the national championship last summer in this race. She's not competing. She was on the Worlds, but not competing here in this 400 IM.
Well, I was talking to Elizabeth right before the race, and she had a big smile on her face like she usually does, Ted, and she said, "I'm dreading this race, just dreading it." Talk about the end of a taper. She, you know, when you talk about tapering, you're talking about peaking for a competition. Well, the World Championships being last week, they were 8 days long, so she had to rest for those World Championships, and to come back and try to do it all over again here at these national championships, which is 5 days long. It's really hard to hang on. You can sometimes get away with it in the short sprints, but the 400 IM is very unforgiving.
Getting right back to the stage.
Remember, Beisel in Shanghai didn't swim until day 6.
Yeah,
she only competed the last 2 days, and then the quick turnaround here. And just think about this, Rowdy. You know, as well as any, how much pain this event holds. And these swimmers are doing it twice in 1 day.
And that's exactly what she was talking about. She goes, I'm just hanging on for dear life. I said, "What? How'd you feel this morning?" She goes, "I felt terrible, just absolutely horrendous." And I said, "Well, you look so easy." And she said, "Believe me, it hurt the whole way." So yeah, I mean, this is a painful thing to do, and have to do it twice. You know, it's very similar to the mile in track and field. If you think about it, our 400s are very similar to the mile in track and field. So it's like running 2 1-milers in 1 day, and that's tough to do.
Beisel, give her credit, because it's Missy Franklin, the same thing here. These young swimmers who come right off of the Worlds, and they're not just dabbling here, they're swimming full schedules. Beisel still has a bunch of races the rest of this competition.
And you see Beisel right there in that blue cap, and I think that's a good point you make, though, Ted. That it might be in her favor just a little bit because of the fact that she swam at the end of the World Championship, so she was tapering for the last couple of days of Worlds, so she's still kind of feeling her oats, I think, here, and you can see she really started taking off on that backstroke leg.
Yeah, she pulls away from Maya Dorado, and then Teresa Crippen is 3rd right now, halfway.
And this is where Elizabeth Beisel, at least in my opinion, won the World Championships. This is what differentiated her from the Elizabeth Beisel a couple of years ago, because this was such a weak stroke for her. And once again, when we were talking, I said, you know, I asked you at Worlds what the difference in breaststroke was, and she said, you know, she's just tinkering with it. It's kind of a trial and error kind of thing. We work on some things. She works with Greg Troy, who has done a great job in improving the breaststroke, some other swimmers on that great team, Connor Dwyer being one of them. And she just said, you know, I keep tinkering with it, and sooner or later I kind of felt so much better in the breaststroke. And you can see this. She's starting to extend her lead. I think it's sort of a timing issue for her. She's much better at her stroke rate. Her tempo has gotten much better, and she consistently is swimming forward in the breaststroke instead of having that up and down feeling that I think she had a little bit of before.
Beisel's first 50 in the breast was 39.22, the only swimmer to go under 40. And she comes in here, looks to have built on this lead.
Beisel turns at 3:31.7.
And she did, boy. She added a second and a half to her edge on Dorado in that breaststroke leg.
And she was 3:29 at the 300 when she went 4:31 at Worlds. So she's a couple of seconds off that, but this looks eerily similar to Worlds, doesn't it, Ted? I mean, this is where she was pretty much at the World Championships. She was completely dominating this race over Hannah Miley and Stephanie Rice, who won the silver and bronze, but she was so far ahead, nobody had a chance to catch her. And Dorado is swimming a great swim. She's having a fine swim. She may be close to being under 440, but right now, Elizabeth Beisel's on pace to go, what, 432, 433, and that's a pretty good time considering where she's at in the summer of 2011.
She told you she was hurting. She felt miserable. She's swimming this event twice in one day, and look at her coming home. And Beisel will win this easily. Her time, 4:34.78, which is the fourth best in the world this year. Think about that, given everything she's done. And Maya Dorado comes in second, and Maya Dorado goes 4:37.88, and that's great. That's 3 seconds off her personal best, and it's the 10th best in the world this year. Well, that's well done.
What makes that impressive, again, is the silver medalist, Hannah Miley, went 4:34.2. So she's right at what Miley went to win the silver at the World Championships. To do that right now and to have such a huge lead where she could easily have shut it down. But let's go back to second place for just a second. Maya Dorado swam a great swim, Ted. 4:37 plus. Yes. That puts her in the top 10 in the world too this year. Boy, and that's a best time by 3 seconds. So Dorado swam so well, and I think that really helped her having Beisel right next to her. Now you can see right now, Beisel coming in, and she's behind at this point. I mean, she absolutely is behind. And backstroke, though, she caught up a little. Butterfly, I think right now, Butterfly is probably a little bit of her weakest stroke. Here's the 200 turn right here where she starts to take the lead right there away from Dorado. See Dorado right there? Flipping virtually even with Beisel. Really helped Dorado going out with Beisel, especially this first 200. But Beisel on the breaststroke, you called it that first 50, unbelievable. Look at this, where she's at in this breaststroke, going into the 300 right here. This is 3/4 of the way through the race, and she's now all of a sudden built this huge lead. And look at everybody else coming into the breaststroke. They're just coming in right now. You take Dorado out of the equation, she wins by 8 seconds. Pretty amazing.
Well, Elizabeth Beisel adds a national championship to her world championship in this event. It's her second national title in the 400 IM. What a run she's on, and right now she is with Alex Flanagan.
Elizabeth, you had to swim this race 2 times today. How tired are you?
Really tired. You know, I just swam it like 5 days ago, so it's pretty mentally tough to come back and turn around and do it again twice more, but I'm definitely pleased with the time. It wasn't what I went at Worlds, but I'll take it.
Rowdy said that he spoke to you before this race and you told him you were dreading it. What's your mindset right now that you've won it?
I don't know. I mean, it's really cool to get another national title. It feels really good, but it's just so tiring, and I'm glad that one's over with.
Elizabeth, you're on fire. As you just said, you won the 400 IM at Worlds. You just won the 400 here, already won the 200. Are you content with how you're swimming right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's no other words to describe how happy I am that I'm swimming well and stuff. So, I mean, it's a combination of all the hard work over the past few years, so I'm glad it's paying off.
Elizabeth Beisel, your 400 IM champ. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, she is making some statement this summer. Elizabeth Beisel